The challenges of being married to someone here in Namibia and also living here in Namibia and, being married to someone and not living in your home country, essentially not having any of my family and my friends from home around. So he and I, and even his family and his mother, they live about 5 to 6 hours away from where we live here. So we do a lot on our own. We don't have the grandparents to send the kids to send my son to for babysitting, and we're kind of just like independently moving through life without that immediate geographically close support system. So that's challenging, I would say. And there are little things like homesickness and different cultural adjustments. Being here as a foreigner is just a roller coaster of emotions all the time. Even though I've been here for about 6 years, it's still always continual adjustment for me. And so I have very frustrating days where I wish things were more like the way they were in the US. I wish, if I call this place like that, things could be, handled like that for whatever service. I have those days where I'm very frustrated with, sometimes the pace of getting things done here, or sometimes I'm just tired of the food options in the town I live in, and I have a craving for something like Starbucks or, some Italian food or whatever. So those things can sort of like seep into your relationship a bit. And then, I sometimes take it out on him because he's Namibian, and now I just hate Namibia today, and things like that. So those are really, I would say, like the biggest challenges of being married to someone in this country, at least for me. But my husband, again, very patient personality, and so by the grace of God, he really has received my roller coaster of cultural adjustment, emotions, and things like that, with a lot of patience. And he's just not really he's not a sharp-tempered person at all, whereas I can be, a bit reactive, I would say. That's a nice way of putting it at times. He's just very patient, and through his patience, I've really learned a lot about myself, and I've learned a lot about, how I can handle different situations, and being thick-skinned is something, I would say, a skill, or thicker skin. I've become a bit thicker-skinned. I don't know if that's something that you learn, but it's something I've become more of. And also I've just learned to be even more comfortable in my own skin. As I mentioned before, just because you're married to someone from a different culture does not mean that you have to, completely change who you are. At the end of the day, I am an African American. I make efforts in many different ways to immerse myself into his culture, and I'm actually very much wanting my son to, of course, know his father's culture and things like that. But at the end of the day, for me, what really works, what I've found best, is not putting too much pressure on myself to try to be a woman in his tribe and things like that. It just doesn't work out. We're both individuals, and we both both of our cultures bring different assets to the table. And so it's also taught me to really just be more comfortable in my skin as an African American living on the African continent and married to an African man, or Namibian man. So I hope you have enjoyed this video or found something interesting about it in terms of dating someone as a black woman from the US, dating someone from an African tribe, from a Namibian tribe. There are many stereotypes that I have heard from within the US, as well as from here, about dating African men, but there are a lot of amazing men on this continent, and so it really does a disservice to the family structure, and just to men around Africa, to lump them all into one cheating, traditional values, chauvinistic, type of thinking. Like, that's not really the case. I've seen, the good and the bad here, just as there are good and bad men in the US and all around the world. So I would definitely encourage everyone not to approach men from a different culture with that sort of mindset, especially even a man from a tribal culture. You'll be very surprised the types of people that you can meet, and they might blow your mind, as my husband has blown mine and really erased any sort of misconceptions and stereotypes that I had about men in his country. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and thanks for listening. Okay, bye.